Hello, this is NCC 171D Freddy Vulcan. I will be briefly discussing the NASA Juno Probe mission that's sending a probe named Juno to Jupiter to go take pictures and find information about it. I believe the name it's called Juno is because the Greek goddess Juno was the wife of the Greek god Jupiter, so that's just my guess on that. So let's get on with the video. Okay, so the Juno probe went into orbit around Jupiter last week, or rather we found it was received that it went into orbit last week by NASA. I think it actually did around July 4th or 5th, but it takes time for the signal to travel to Earth, so they found that out last week. And since then it has sent information with images of Jupiter back to NASA, which arrived this week. Juno, I believe, is the closest man-made object to Jupiter there's ever been, so these are some of the most detailed pictures we have of Jupiter that Juno sent back. And right now, or a few months ago, I think, it's been in this elliptical, stretched out path around Jupiter. And so it kind of did this pass of Jupiter where it took a lot of these photos, and then in 53 days it will do another maneuver to move into a 14-day orbit, and then it will stay there until August and get some better images and send those back as well. And then it'll stay there for a few years and study Jupiter, and then down the line in February, I think, assuming that they like the information they get back, they're going to send the probe down into Jupiter, which, based on what I read, I think said would destroy it, but then they're going to try to use that information and the information they get from the orbits to learn more about the internal composition of Jupiter, because, from what I understand, we have a lot of guesses about what Jupiter's composed of, but we're not really completely certain, and so the main attempt of this mission is to learn more about that. So this is just a current diagram of what we think we know about what's inside of Jupiter. It's mostly gas on outside, and then as you go farther in, there's more pressure and it gets denser, and you have that liquid, or gaseous, liquid, solid. I don't know how to describe that, but the layers of it, the layering of it. So here's the first picture that, or I don't know if it's the first one they sent back, but it was the first one I found. It's an image that they took roughly from the North Pole, from 195 kilometers away. I think that this here is the famous red spot, but I'm not certain about that. I thought this was really neat, because there's a lot of detail, especially up here on this top part. Ooh, sorry. And then here's some more images that it took as it was flying by, and I think the article I read said that they took these every 10 hours, so they have it on the top here as Juno. I think it's on the top here that it's approaching Jupiter, and then down here it's as it's flying away. By the way, just a thought, it always kind of surprises me how in these photos they never have any stars in the background. I'm guessing it has something to do with the exposure of the light. Don't quote me on that. I'm literally just guessing. But just something I've always noticed with that. This is an infrared image that they took of one of the parts of Jupiter that they flew by. This is an image of the south pole of Jupiter. And then, I don't totally understand why they have sort of this distribution of the area of Jupiter, but this was some images they got of the South Pole, and then I'm guessing that they took it with a different sort of, in a different manner than the others, because this one has no color, it just has black and white. But again, I did not confirm that, so don't, this is just me thinking about it. So that was all. I just wanted to briefly explain what the mission was for and show some of the images because I thought it was very interesting. Those are the sources I read. I'll put the links in the description if you want to look at them. I would recommend that. And then also, while I was looking at things, I found a video about the mission, which I thought was interesting, so I will put that in the description too. This is NCC 171D, Freddy Vulcan, saying live long and prosper.